Hi, I'm Kristen Storla. Please call me Storla. And I am the intimacy director and fight director for Desire Under the Elms at Actors Express. A little about my background is I have been a working fight choreographer, fight director for the last 10 years or so, alongside my career as an actor, puppeteer, and movement artist. Now, I was first introduced to intimacy work about 5 years ago, and that honestly came out of a lot of negative experiences working in Atlanta, between harassment, situations not being handled very well. And if you talk to many working professionals, they've experienced similar things throughout their careers. And it got me to think that there had to be a better way to ethically create stories while honoring and uplifting people's needs and boundaries and finding the right course of actions when things inevitably do happen. So it's not to say that I created this work by any means. I sought out a lot of great resources at the time, including the Not in My House movement out of Chicago and Intimacy Directors International at the time. And that's where I jump-started my training in intimacy. Since then, I've continued to train with other organizations that are continuing to codify and uplift the work of intimacy. It is a vastly growing field. So I'm very grateful to be able to continue my learnings and bring this work to Atlanta. So what does an intimacy director do on a show like Desire Under the Elms? And the answer is quite a lot, especially with desire being right there in the title. I think at my last count, there's 12 or 13 scripted kisses in the text. And my absolute favorite is one that is written as, "They meet in a fierce, bruising kiss." Oh, how powerful is that? But what does a fierce bruising kiss look like? How does a fierce bruising kiss sound? Where do your hands go in a fierce bruising kiss? These are all questions that need answers because this is very vulnerable work we ask the actors to do night after night. So a big part of my job is coming in and collaborating with the cast and the director to set consistent choreography that the actors can feel very confident in performing night after night so that, they don't have actually bruised lips at the end of the run. So choreography is a big part of it. I'm also there to advocate for the boundaries and the needs of all people in the rehearsal room around this content. Because everyone working together, we each have different experiences with heightened content like this. And so navigating that space and holding space to mitigate harm that can be done with this type of work. Because in all honesty, art isn't always comfortable, and that's okay, but it doesn't have to be damaging. And so that is a big part of the job as well. And beyond all that, I'm here to make sure that, the actors feel great in their choreography, that the artistic vision of the director is being upheld, that I am mitigating harm, and that we have a really dope physical story to put on stage at the end of it all. So in preparation for Desire, I read the script a bunch. I had plenty of time since this was first slated to go up in 2020. And that gives me an opportunity to really understand the needs of the characters, why they're doing what they're doing, as well as pick up on those context clues as to how they might inhabit their bodies. I also met with Freddie, our director, a few times to chat about what his vision was for this physical storytelling. Before we even start rehearsals as well, I'd like to think that I dust off my tool belt. I have a few different things there between techniques to warm up the body and breath, games that focus on connection, games that focus on bodily autonomy and agency, and also closure practices as well to step out of the work. So I dust off my tool belt because I don't know what's going to be needed in the room until we get into the room. And once in the room, I treat it very collaboratively. Again, confidence for the actors is a priority for me. So if the actor isn't part of the process of how they move through space and the how, what, where, and why of what these characters are doing, then that is at a disservice to the overall story. So collaborating with the cast and Freddie to find these stories. And overall, something that I've really been focusing on for this production is breath. Part of theater magic to me is when the audience connects to the story and to these characters through breath, when all people in the room are breathing together. What a magical experience that is. And so I really wanted for the audience to get seduced into the story as these characters are seducing each other through that touchstone of breath. So that's something we really focused on. I'm sure I made the actors crazy some nights and a little dizzy by how much breathing we were doing. But I really think that's going to pay off here. So if you want to learn more about intimacy direction, there are a lot of organizations out there providing trainings and certifications and resources and continued learnings, both virtual and in person, out there. So get out there and see what works best for you. I would really say to identify for yourself what your goals are in this work, what you want to be doing with it, and research these organizations and these companies to make sure that those two things align. But I found a lot of success with IDC professionals, as well as an organization called Theatrical Intimacy Education. Some others of note are intimacy coordinators of color that are working to decolonize this work and uplift the voices from the global majority. I also want to call out the Transgender Training Institute, as well as bystander intervention training that you can find online, mental health first aid training that you'll find through the Red Cross, and trauma-informed training. All of these are crucial to have in your back pocket if you want to pursue this work, because there are just so many intersectionalities in intimacy. Now, if you want to learn a little more about me, you can keep up with all of my shenanigans online on all the socials. You can find me at Kristin Storla on Instagram. I am Cranky Kristin, cranky with a K. And I hope to continue to work across Atlanta, so keep your eye out for me. I love this work. I love getting to share it with you, and I really hope you enjoy Desire Under the Elms.